Welcome everybody to the Young Innovators Weekly Workshop, weekly show, where we'll be talking about the importance of learning this week, and we'll also be talking about the importance of self-learning especially, and we'll be giving you a quick report on how our workshops are going this week, and next week will be the last week for our workshops. So if you're interested in finding out more, try and look into our Facebook or see where the workshops are going on. And every parent is invited to just see, check out what's going on, and have a feel for what the environment's like. Now, with me, I have the rest of my Young Innovators Club members who helped me in making this show, who helped me in running this show, and I'll be talking to them about the workshops. I'll be talking to them about the importance of self-learning. So we'll have them here right now. We'll just have someone add them all. Beautiful. So welcome Usman, welcome Ayan, and welcome Zoha. Would you guys like to introduce yourself? So I'll introduce myself first, since I barely do that anymore. But that I am Shan Ali. I'm the Young Innovators Club coordinator. I am also a mentor for coding as well. And with me, I also have Usman. Usman, could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Usman. I'm a mentor at Young Innovators Network, and I'm also running the robotics workshop this time.
Thank you, Usman. And Ayan, could you introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Ayan Ali. I am a mentor at Young Innovators Australia. I am I'm basically helping people run all the other workshops. I'm just an assistant
Yep.
basically.
Nice. And Zoha.
Hi, I'm Zoha, and I'm also a mentor for Young Innovators, and I'm just the videographer.
Got you. And so, thank you everyone for introducing yourselves. Now, we're going to quickly talk about the workshops. Now, Ayan here was still at school. His holidays didn't start until this week ended. So, what Ayan will be doing is that he'll be helping us with all the workshops. He'll be helping us with running certificate ceremonies that will be happening at the end. Now, so because of that, he wasn't with us for coding. So, I will give a quick update on how the coding workshop has been going for us. And the coding workshop went well. That is that we had children coming in. We have a good variety of kids. Some are slower learners, some are faster learners. But what's good is that because of how we structure the courses here at Young Innovators, we try and make sure that all the courses are self-paced, meaning that no matter how far or slow or how fast or slow you are at comprehending different ideas, at learning new things, that wouldn't matter because what matters is you're learning and you're able to take your time with your learning. And it makes learning more enjoyable as well. So because of that, it was fine, and the workshop went well. And yeah, that's about it. So coding went well. The coding workshop itself was good because we had a good mix of people as well. The more variety there is of people, the more people that come, the better it is for us and the better it is for you. Now, I'd also like to have Usman here tell us about the robotics workshop because you are the mentor for robotics.
Yeah, all right. So far the robotics workshop it's going pretty well. We have some really fast learners. We have some really motivated people. Like I'm not gonna mention names because
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, so of course there's some like people who are slightly behind, but but everyone's catching up. Everyone's like doing pretty well. Yeah. So I don't really have any further comments.
Yep. And Zoha, I know you're doing the videos and stuff for the workshop. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Could you give us a little bit more of an idea of what you do, what you usually would be doing throughout a workshop? Just so that if other parents are listening to this, if other students are listening to this, they have an idea of what your role is.
So basically, throughout the workshops, I would like come in, peek in, and just like take some quick snapshots to provide in our media.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's basically it.
Beautiful. And you also edit the videos as well, the videos and the pictures?
Yeah, that's correct.
Beautiful. So, other than that, what are your general thoughts on the workshop? You can be brutally honest if you'd like to, but what are your general thoughts on how the workshops are going right now? And yeah.
Honestly, I think they run pretty well, and like the kids seem like they're enjoying themselves and everything, but
Mhm.
I have like nothing to improve.
Okay. So that is how the workshops are going. So just for anyone listening, you have an idea of how the workshops are going. And Ayan doesn't really know much about it right now because he'll be joining this week. Now, the next question then comes, or the next discussion point then becomes about self-learning. Now, who here has actually done so outside of, let's say, outside of the main activities or mainstream activities we do in Young Innovators, who here actually has done any sort of self-learning for themselves, where they individually went to try and learn something, maybe learn a new topic, learn something new for yourselves, whether it be a skill, and tell us a little bit about your journey with learning that thing, let's say.
I'll go first.
Yep.
So after the ABPN meeting with Umair and all the businessmen. So after that, I've had some really good ideas. I'm actually learning about how like businesses are set up, how to start
Yep.
them up. So
Yep.
improving on what we actually learned that day.
Okay. And so what you were trying to learn more about businesses, but other than that, what about any skills?
So on skills, I'm obviously learning programming, but that's like an ongoing thing
hmm Are you learning that by yourself? Are you part of a session or a class or a group of people?
by myself.
By yourself? So how are you learning
Yeah.
that? If you don't mind me asking.
So YouTube videos,
hmm
documentation, just going through whatever's important, just like putting myself head first into like projects and just seeing what I need to learn.
Okay. So when it comes to this, you try and look for a project, and then correct me if I'm wrong. So you look at a project, and then based off that project, you'd try and figure out what you need to learn, right?
Yeah, so if I'm like if I need to make a project where I need to like count to 10, I'll find out what I need to learn in order to actually make that happen.
Got you, got you. So
If
what you're talking about here is project-based learning, and that's actually very useful, especially if you're trying to get into, let's say, a certain part of the industry. If you're trying to get into a job, it's a good idea for you to actually figure out what you need to learn in regards to one thing. Because I know this is with school as well. I'm going to be honest. This is with school as well. When you go to school, there's often a argument from kids against school. That is that you're learning so many useless things. And when I say useless, I mean that they won't be useful to you later on in life. You're learning so many things that you won't actually use. And that's going to be in particular, let's say I want to do computer science, but I had to do technology as a subject at school. In technology, I'm going to learn how to design a magazine. Is that useful for me at all? Let's be honest, no. That's completely useless as a skill for me in particular. And then I'd have to use tools and stuff. And that's where project-based learning is more useful than actually broadly learning everything and trying to figure out what you need to learn. So where project-based learning helps is that it helps you cut out in any other subjects or fields that you don't need to touch on. It helps you be more efficient with your learning as well, because you're learning the things that only matter to you, that are only relevant to you. And then here's the thing though, then you have one flaw of project-based learning. When you do project-based learning, you sometimes miss out on certain facts, certain information that you also, and I'm just trying to like give the pros and cons to it, that you also don't really know much. Oh, sorry, what am I saying? I lost my train of thought. So yeah, with project-based learning, what happens is that you often, sorry, someone just messaging me something stupid. That's fine. So with project-based learning, what happens is that when you learn something and when it's like tunnel vision. When you only learn that one thing, when you need to branch out and start entering different fields of the industry, let's say I'm learning about filmmaking and I want to learn more about video editing, the certain skills I'll need for video editing, let's say montages and stuff, I won't have those skills because I was trained in filmmaking only. So that's the problem with project-based learning sometimes. And so I'll ask Usman, what sort of projects or how do you decide to choose your projects then?
so sometimes I'll just get other people to suggest to me some things.
Yep.
If not, I might just go online, look at some other projects other people have done, try to recreate that in my own way. Or
Okay.
if anything comes to mind, that's also that's also a way I get some ideas.
That's good. What about Ayan and Zoha? Have any of you done any sort of, I'll say, self-learning for yourselves where you actually try to learn a new skill, try to learn something new, get experience in something on your own?
The past week, not really, since I had exams.
Yeah.
But before
I'm
that,
just
I
saying
was
throughout your life,
learning.
like anything throughout your life.
Yeah, before I was just learning about the EV3 robots a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Just like on how to create different mechanisms of it, how to get some advanced codes and stuff like that.
Okay. And Zoha?
I would mostly like look up on YouTube how to edit and everything, and I'll just like check out these people and learn how to do it by myself mostly.
Okay. So now I'm gonna pose a different question or try and bring a scenario. So when we look at children nowadays, especially children who are at school, many of them aren't even interested or have no idea where to start when it comes to learning something for themselves. Would you give any advice to them as to where they can try and figure out what they can get interested in? Or, do you get the gist of what I'm trying to say here? Because you have lots of children who are uninterested in doing many things. They have no clue what they want to do, so they just waste time at home. And I'm not a fan of using the word waste sometimes, but in reality, sometimes they waste time at home doing nothing, and they just sit around and basically just play games, do something else, don't spend time working on themselves. So, could you give any advice to children or any advice to students as to what they can do to either A, figure out what career they want to do, or B, get a general direction of how they can move forward in a subject they're interested in? If you're confused with the question I asked, just ask me to repeat it, or
All right, so correct me if I'm wrong. You mean like how to actually find out your interests?
yeah, one is to find out your interest, and the second one was to, if you already figure out a subject or something you're interested in, how do you get started? Those are two questions. So,
Uh, so to actually find your interest, that's probably the most difficult part. Actually, yeah, it's one of the most difficult parts of actually learning something. Personally, I would say that just trying everything that you can get your hands on.
yeah.
Honestly, it's random. It's random based. You don't
Mhm.
have like anything specific you can really do except just try new things.
Yeah.
If you like a specific subject or topic in school, maybe try seeing what skills or what industry is related to that and try learning off that. That might work.
Hmm.
That's how I got into programming.
Okay. And Ayan and Zoha, do you have anything you'd like to say on this?
Yeah, just like if you're already interested in something from school or just like from before, if you would like to take interest in that and just go like harder about it, like take more interest in it, study and research about it,
Hmm.
and if you want to try and find it, take time out of your day or just out of your life to go try new things, find an interest, and just continue on that and make that
Okay.
your career path.
So, Zoha, do you have anything to say on this as well, or?
No, I don't really have an opinion right now.
Okay. So the general consensus here is that if you want to try and learn more about, let's say, if you want to try and get it into an interest or find an interest for yourself, the best thing to do is to find a. Sorry, I'm just reading chat and anyways, is to find an interest, is to, sorry, try everything. And then from there, try and see anything you're interested in. That's one. The second thing that Ayan sort of touched on is that if you're interested in getting more serious about something, let's say you find a passion, you found an interest, but you don't know what to do, best thing to do sometimes is to just research about it. And this was actually useful for me as well when I was trying to get into coding, because right now I have my HSE. I have to like take a step back from all my passions and stuff, and I have to focus on my exams. But afterwards, actually researching the, because thankfully people online, they give you an idea of how you can go on with your career path. Let's say if you want to do computer science or coding, search it up. How do you become a programmer? How do you become a coder? They'll actually explain to you. If you want, you can take this degree. Is this degree actually useful? No, yes. What sort of industries you can be a part of? They talk about that. So researching the things you're interested in will actually help you a lot more than you think. Sitting around and not doing anything, a lack of action, also reflects how much you're committed to something as well. So if you want, and if you really are committed to something, do something about it. Do some research. Actually have some action. Now, other than that, just a reminder to everyone once again, our workshops will be happening next week, and we'll go more into that. Hopefully, maybe afterwards we'll give you a report about how each of the workshops went. And other than that, does anyone else want to mention anything here? Such as, for example, regarding the workshops, maybe regarding your own subject matter in that workshop as well. For example, if you're doing coding or robotics, would you like to talk about anything about coding or robotics so that everyone else knows about it? Like if it's a great field. Oh, actually, and on that point, if you don't mind me to continue here, on that point, if you're actually interested in trying to get an experience in each subject, a good thing to do is also try and attend some of our workshops where you'll actually get an experience of what robotics is like, what coding is like, because we try and not make it too difficult, but we at the same time we try and make it more accessible to everyone. So it starts off very easy, and then we go into more and more difficult concepts later on. So on that note, I'll have Usman quickly talk about robotics if you have the time now. Could you talk about robotics for a little bit and tell us the great things about robotics, what it's like doing robotics, the experience a little bit, just so everyone else knows more about it.
All right. So robotics in general, it's in a very like it's a massive field. It's growing.
Mhm.
There's no doubt that this field it has a lot of like opportunities for whether that be money or like just to learn something. It's a very vast field. So for example, with our robotics workshops, so what we do, we have project-based learning, as we were talking about later earlier. So uh, sorry. So
Okay.
okay. So robotics is sorry. Could you repeat the question?
Yeah, it was just about asking about. Could you tell us what it's like, like learning robotics and actually executing it with the skills you learn, and also just give people an idea of what it would be like if they wanted to go into the fields of robotics.
Okay, so getting into the field, it's obviously like you firstly have to find something you can actually practice. That
Mm.
well, for example, like you can come do workshops with like people like young innovators like us, or you could like I think most schools have actually like started doing robotics now with like First Lego League and
Yep.
EV3. So there's also that you can if like robotics you may the whole point of robotics is to make a robot to do something.
Yep.
So obviously in the start it's slightly like it's a very like a massive learning curve. You're going to learn a lot in a short period of time, and after that, although it does slow down, it's still there's still just so much that it's not enough to just learn in a while. So like you have drones, you have like underwater, you have like land. uh yeah, you even have robotics in construction and manufacturing. So it's definitely good to know which field you actually want to get into before you actually go into robotics.
Hmm. So thank you, and I'd also like to continue what Usman said. The same applies to coding and many technology-based subjects, especially stuff like mechatronics as well, where you're going to start off. It's going to be a big learning curve when you're trying to learn about languages and how to code different things specifically, because every new technology you're going to touch, every new system you're going to touch, you're going to have to learn how that system works, what's the specific parts of that system, and once you get familiar with one system, it's easier to translate it to the next system. But then there also comes the experience of working with different people. Now, if you're doing robotics, or let's say if you're doing coding, you're going to learn how to code one or two specific things. Let's say you're going to code a specific server, and let's say you only know the coding aspect to it, the maintenance of that server, all the physical stuff like transportation. You're not an expert on that, but you're going to have to work with different people who are experts on, let's say, maintenance, on engineering. So that's how it's like when, especially with big subjects such as coding, such as robotics, you're going to be working with a team of people who, let's say, specialize in something else or specialize in something similar to you to work on specific tasks. And if you want to try and get an idea of how that's like, we do in robotics, and I think Usman can talk about this a little bit as well. We do try and have people and partners where we have people work together, try and learn together. And while they learn together, we also have them do projects together as well. And could you tell them about one of the first basic projects we gave them? I think it was having something with crossing the road or something. Could you tell us?
Okay, so firstly to answer like why we put them in partners, we put them in partners because when you're with other people, you're more motivated. You have more reason to actually do something. So that's
Hmm.
the main point. And like the partners will actually like discuss things. It's just better to learn overall.
Yep.
So and focusing more on the project. The first project that we've given them, it's a match with like there's a sorry, so they have to drive, turn, and then park into a spot, and there's a crossroad on the like walking crossroad, sorry, forgot what they're called, in the way, so they have to stop at that before they actually
Yep.
continue and park. So we
So,
put them in, yeah.
yep. No, continue.
No, no.
No, seriously, no, continue, because I was just gonna
uh,
say, ask you to just wrap it up again. Let's and tell us a quick overview. But that's fine. Continue. if there was anything else you want to say.
No, not really.
Okay, so you're telling us that basically the robot goes forward and then we're going to instruct you on how to park. Now, in terms of application, do you think that skill itself would be applicable? Because I have seen it myself. I did attend the first session, so I do know about the application, but I'd like you to talk a little bit about where those sort of skills can be applied in terms of robotics.
So skills like this is a quite basic project.
Yeah,
So it's the foundation of most other projects. So right now the students are going to actually be telling the robot what to do, how to actually get there. Later on, we're going to transform this into actually telling the robot what to do to figure out how to get there. So it'll be more adaptable soon.
yeah. So I was with you in the workshop, and what I'm guessing you're alluding to is using sensors and stuff, right?
Yes, yes, using
So using
sensors like
sensors, yep.
the ultrasonic sensors, color
Mhm.
sensors, etc.
Yep. So once again, thank you, Usman. Thank you, Ayan. Thank you, Zoha, for coming here. So we're just giving a quick overview for everyone here on how the workshops are going, the importance of self-learning, because even if you aren't joining any of the workshops right now, I would highly recommend you at least try and do something during these holidays to help you in your own learning. And other than that, that's about it. Thank you everyone for joining for this weekly session. And I'm just getting a quick message from someone. Let me just check. Is there anything else? Nope, that's about it for this week. So thank you everyone for joining us. We'll try and give you an update on how each of the workshops are going. We'll try and give you an actual video report next time, and that will be next week, Saturday. So like our Facebook page and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you stay updated with what will be happening. So thank you.